Hi, so in this video, we'll extend our discussion to the sets in Python. So I'll share my screen. So first of all, we will discuss some of the properties of the sets. The sets are unordered collection of items. So when I said unordered collection, that means we cannot apply indexing here. So indexing is a big no. Another thing is that there are no duplicates allowed in the sets. If we are trying to add duplicates, then they will be ignored. Another thing is that we can perform mathematical set operations. This we will see later on. Okay, so a few things about creating a set. Set can have any number of items. It is not restricted, and we do not have to predefine the number of items that we need to insert in the set. The items can be of any data type, so it is not that all the elements should be of the same data type. It is not like that. You can have any data type and any number of elements, and you cannot have any mutable element. Okay, so list and dictionaries are basically mutable elements, and you cannot have list or dictionary inside a set. Okay, you cannot have any mutable element basically. Talking about the syntax of defining a set, we use the curly brackets. Whenever you have a variable, okay, and you specify items in curly bracket, the compiler take it as set. If you use square bracket, the compiler will take it as list. Okay, and parenthesis we will see very soon in the next video. Okay, so the syntax is like this, and you can use curly brackets, and inside the curly bracket you can specify the elements that you want to insert. And the duplicate items, if you insert duplicate items, so if I try to insert something like 1 2 2 and 3, so the items that will be inserted, or if I try to print it, then I will get 1 2 and 3. The duplicate items will be ignored. And mutable types, if you try to insert a list inside a set, then it will generate an error. And if it is required for you to insert the elements of the list inside a set, then you can use this particular syntax. And basically you can first basically you can specify the compiler that whatever is inside the square bracket, upcoming square bracket, that is not set, and you have to convert it to set. So basically you are telling the compiler early on, so the compiler is prepared for any kind of things. And basically what compiler is doing here, it is ignoring the repeating 5. It is ignored, and we are getting these elements inside the set. Alright, so now we'll talk about how can we create an empty set. Now creating an empty set should be very obvious. I mean, it may be required in some situations. So if you just do something like this, that if you put nothing inside the curly brackets, then you are not going to get the required results. The compiler is going to take it as dictionary. Okay, so if you want to specify an empty set, you will have to specify, you need to use the same keyword as you used here. Basically you are telling the compiler whatever inside is going to be a set, right? So similarly you are telling the compiler that whatever inside is going to be a set, and since there is nothing, but still the compiler has recognized this variable as a set. Now if you try to print the type of this particular my set variable, it will print as set, otherwise it would print dictionary. Okay, now there are a few points about sets, and they are that since sets are unordered, sets do not have any order in the elements or the items inside the set do not have any order, hence we cannot rely on indexing. We just cannot access or change element using indexing or slicing, because basically if there is no addressing, there is no indexing, then how can you randomly access something or slice? To slice something, you need to know ki from where you want to slice, right? You cannot just randomly slice from anywhere. And if you are kind of rebellious and you want to try this out, so basically trying to access this first element of the set, then it will generate an error for you. Now we will talk about some of the functions that we can use to modify a set. The first function that is we are going to talk about is add, and another is update. Basically, if you can remember from the last video, the add function is going to add a single element and update function is going to add multiple elements. And there is one more thing, that inside the multiple elements, it is not necessary that you specify only elements of the same data type. You can specify elements of any data type. Okay, what it will do, it will just ignore the duplicates. Okay, you have to know that set cannot have duplicates, so if you are going to insert duplicates, they are going to be ignored. Okay, so for example, you have you created a set using this syntax, then to add another element you can use the add keyword. This will be the result, and you can use the update keyword to insert multiple elements. Now you can see that you already have 3 4 and you are again trying to insert 3 4, so they will be ignored and you will have only one instances of 3 4 in the result. If you have to remove an element, then there are two commands you can use. First is discard, another is remove. Now the discard command is more reliable if you are using it in a practical scenario. Basically, discard command does is whatever element you want to remove, discard command will look for this element inside the set, and if it is present it will delete it, and if it is not present it will just ignore the command. Okay, whereas if you are using the remove command, then compiler thinks that you are sure that this particular element is present inside the set. So if the element is not present inside the set, then it will generate an error. So it is always good to use the discard command. So this is the thing. Yes, so this is the set, and if you use discard 4, it will remove the 4. Now again, if you use remove 4, then it will generate the error. Now there is another command named pop. Okay, now pop command is take it something like if you remember in stacks, we used pop to delete the first element of the stack, right? Now talking about the sets, basically it is a random allocation, they are unordered. So an item will be deleted, that is for sure, but which item will be deleted, that is completely random. Okay, and if you want to remove all the items from the set, you can use the clear command, myset.clear these brackets, and if you just if after executing this command you just print the myset, you will get nothing. So this was about the set. In the next video we will look at the dictionaries.